The 2021 WWE Draft is now in the history books and both SmackDown and Raw have undergone major changes. Although the blue brand lost a bunch of big names during the draft, it bagged several top stars from the red brand at the same time. The likes of Drew McIntyre, Shayna Baszler, Charlotte Flair, and Sheamus are now part of SmackDown. Needless to say, the upcoming edition of the Friday night show is bound to be an intriguing one. As has always been the case with the draft, fans will get to see some fresh angles kicking off, starting on tonight's episode. WWE may have many more surprises in store for fans. Let's check out 5 possibilities. Number 5. Dominik turns heel on his father, Rey Mysterio, on SmackDown. Over the past month or so, Dominik Mysterio has lost 3 singles matches to Sami Zayn. Their last match took place on the September 17, 2021 episode of SmackDown, with Dominik suffering his 3rd straight singles loss to the WWE veteran. Following the match, Zayn approached Rey Mysterio and told him that he should advise his son in a better manner. The company is teasing an alliance between Dominik and Zayn, and it looks like a heel turn for the former isn't too far. Tonight on SmackDown, Sami Zayn will take on Rey Mysterio in the first round of the King of the Ring tournament. Fans may be aware that the finals of the tournament are set to take place at Crown Jewel 2021 in Saudi Arabia. One can't rule out the possibility of Dominik accidentally costing his father his match against Zayn tonight. It would certainly create tensions between the father-son duo, resulting in a match between the two at the upcoming pay-per-view. What do you think? Is it too soon to separate the Mysterios? Does Dominik's current character excite you? Number 4. Carmella squashes Liv Morgan on SmackDown. Carmella and Liv Morgan have been feuding on SmackDown for a while now. The two women faced off at Extreme Rules 2021 in a singles outing, with Morgan coming out victorious. On last week's episode of the Blue Brand, Carmella donned a mask to prevent Liv Morgan from ruining her beautiful face. She then attacked Morgan in the ring and the scheduled match didn't take place. The two superstars are set to collide on this week's SmackDown. This high-stakes clash will determine who moves ahead in the Queen's Crown tournament. Carmella received loud chants of "You look stupid" from the live audience last week. WWE may capitalize on the reactions she is receiving and give her a big win tonight to put over her masked look further. What would be a better way to do that than to have her squash Morgan in a matter of seconds? She is a beloved figure among the WWE universe and fans have been clamoring for her push for a long time now. Carmella's new persona as a ruthless masked baddie is bound to get insane heel heat if she puts Liv Morgan down in quick fashion. Number 3. Charlotte Flair interrupts major contract signing on SmackDown. On last week's SmackDown, Becky Lynch's interference cost Bianca Belair her singles match against Sasha Banks. Following the contest, Raw Women's Champion Charlotte Flair came out and attacked both the competitors. The segment ended with both Flair and Lynch posing with their belts. The chaotic situation didn't end here though. On the draft edition of Raw, the man interfered again in Belair's match with the Queen. It led to the EST scoring a DQ victory. Sasha Banks came out and attacked both her rivals, thus standing tall over them to end the show. The changes made during the 2021 draft will be reflected on the roster after Crown Jewel. That certainly won't stop Charlotte Flair from paying a visit to SmackDown. She isn't one to sit back and do nothing, especially after what happened on Raw. Tonight on SmackDown, Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair, and Sasha Banks will make their Crown Jewel match official in a contract signing. Flair is likely mad at Lynch for costing her a match on Raw earlier this week, and she would love nothing but to return the favor in some form. One thing's for sure, this contract signing isn't going to end well for at least one of these women. Number 2. Edge exacts revenge on Seth Rollins for the home invasion on last week's SmackDown. Seth Rollins invaded Edge's home last week on SmackDown. As the horrified WWE Hall of Famer watched helplessly, he knew things were pretty serious and quickly called his wife Beth Phoenix. The rated R superstar told her not to go home, and that she should go to her brother's house. Edge also told her that he's calling AEW stars FTR to take care of Rollins. Seth Rollins later opened up about his actions on SmackDown via a tweet. He reminded fans how Edge once invaded John Cena's home and attacked his dad. He hinted that what he did was nothing in comparison to Edge's past actions. The latter is certainly not in the mood to listen to Rollins, and is most likely hellbent on exacting revenge. For just one night, fans might get to see Edge bringing back his dark side. Home invasions on WWE TV have mostly been carried on by heels. That doesn't mean in the slightest that home invasions by babyfaces don't work. Case in point, Triple H paid a visit to Randy Orton's house in 2009 and brutally attacked the Viper. Edge doesn't even have to enter Rollins' home. The WWE veteran finds Seth Rollins chilling out in his backyard and proceeds to beat him up right there. Before leaving the spot, he tells a fallen Rollins never to attempt a break-in at his house again. Number 1. Roman Reigns finally gets back at Brock Lesnar on SmackDown. Let's face it, the SmackDown feud between Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns has thus far seen the Beast incarnate stand tall over the Tribal Chief. At SummerSlam 2021, Lesnar confronted Reigns and the latter decided to leave the spot instead of going at it with his arch-rival. When the two superstars met again on the Madison Square Garden edition of the Blue Brand, things got heated up pretty quickly. Lesnar attempted an F5 on Paul Heyman, but Reigns and the Usos interfered. This led to Brock Lesnar almost executing an F5 on Roman Reigns, before Jay and Jimmy prevented that from happening. Lesnar took them to Suplex City while a fuming Reigns watched from outside. Last week on SmackDown, Reigns threw a series of punches on Lesnar, and he responded with a couple of devastating German suplexes. The tribal chief immediately bailed and his cousins were mauled by the beast incarnate once again. It's time for Roman Reigns to get the upper hand over Lesnar for once. On tonight's SmackDown, he might do just that in case Lesnar shows up. Reigns needs to put him down at least once to create some intrigue for their crown jewel showdown. This week's edition of the Friday night show could certainly end with the numbers game catching up to Lesnar and Reigns putting him down with a thunderous spear. Karrion Kross hinted that Scarlett could return to WWE programming shortly. Scarlett, who is engaged to Karrion Kross in real life, performed as the Raw star's valet during his 16-month run in NXT. However, she has not appeared on WWE television since the two-time NXT champion joined the Raw roster in July. Speaking on Devon Dudley's Table Talk podcast, Karrion Kross addressed speculation about Scarlett's recent WWE absence. "This is what I can say, without being deliberately cryptic. We're waiting for something to finish taking its course. But she is very good and she's been training like a maniac, like she always does. You can expect to see her anytime or any place," Karrion Kross said. Karrion Kross lost his final NXT match against Samoa Joe at NXT TakeOver 36 in August. Despite accompanying her fiancé in his previous NXT matches, Scarlett was also absent from ringside for his match against Joe. Before debuting in NXT in 2020, Karrion Kross and Scarlett worked alongside each other in Mexico and at independent events. Asked if he finds it easier to work with or without a loved one, Kross said he prefers to have Scarlett by his side. "Much easier. And I would have anticipated, and it's not her, it's more of a me thing. I would have anticipated it to be a lot more difficult. I worked really sparingly with Scarlett, tag situations on the independents, especially in Mexico. We had a lot of six-mans. It was a great way to showcase a lot of people all at once," Kross said. Karrion Kross was selected by Raw as the 17th overall pick on the second night of the 2021 WWE Draft. In his most recent televised match, the 36-year-old defeated Ricochet on this week's episode of Main Event.